Hi everyone, welcome to day 14 of Spark Learning. So today we are going to talk about the continuation of yesterday's class, right? Yesterday we talked about delta table. So what was the key feature from delta table? Delta table allows you to do the normal insert, update, delete operations like a data warehouse, right? So the major challenge of file operations are not there with delta table. So since we have talked about that, today we are going to see the practical example how we are going to do create, insert, update, delete all these operations on a delta table. Okay, so we'll move on to the Databricks. Yeah, so I just have written this information in Markdown. So what is ACID transaction, right? Like delta table provide ACID transaction in making them reliable and scalable. So we have maybe if you have already worked with any of the relational databases, you may have heard about this term. If not, I just wanted to like take next 2 minutes to quickly take you through what is ACID transaction. So ACID means atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So some in just to give not to talk about the definitions, right? So when you are going to do like multiple people are going to access a data, right? Or like somebody is inserting the data, the other person is going to insert the data, other person is reading the data, and you have like multiple tables, and you wanted to make sure that the insertion are connected. Like if the failure is happening on the second table, first also need to be reverted back, like the relational database concept, right? So ACID transactions means like a transaction that align to all these things. Like atomicity means ensure that the transaction is fully completed or fully rolled back, the same thing. If you have two insert, if there is a banking transactions that talk about like updating the balance and as well as transaction, and if one of it fail, you should revert back all the changes, right? So that can be called as an atomicity. And consistency means like if somebody is inserting but that is going to fail, we don't know until it is finished, right? So people should not get different type of results when somebody writes a select statement. That means like when I am inserting, you got something but it got rolled back, you get a different value, right? That shouldn't be the case. It should be consistent when you are writing a query and reading the data. So isolation, that multiple transactions do not interfere each other, because think about like 10 people are inserting, updating on the tables, right? It should not interfere, or it should not make so someone else data got inserted, someone else, some other value got deleted. These kind of things should not happen. And durability means like once the transaction is saved or committed, it should permanently stored forever, right? So this is ACID property. This is kind of a concept that makes sure that your database is reliable and you can trust on the data what you're seeing. Okay, so now we'll go on to the topic. This I just covered because in case if you have never heard about the term ACID, so I just wanted to take that like talk about that. Now we will create a sample data set. So I have got a feedback that some of my code is slightly complicated, but I am trying my best to keep this thing simple. But why I am not referring to an existing file or trying to have this data set created here, I'll be publishing all these things into GitHub or in a shared location sooner. I'm working behind that, so that like in case if you are going to access these notebooks and trying to explore this in a community edition of Databricks, right? Because everything is free. Once you get this code, you can practice by yourself. So when you do that, I don't want like most of this code to be depend upon any of the file which is there. Wherever I have an option to do that without a file, that is why you are seeing some additional code rather than just directly into the functionality. Okay, so here what I am doing, this is a create statement. So first we are going to, before we are going to talk about create, so this is nothing but create. Like I'm creating a like data frame which is having like three information of like Alice, Alice with an ID of 1, a name as Alice, and age is 30, and 2 Bob and Chad. So what we said, like we are talking about create or insert, right? So when you think about create or insert, that means like you wanted to set a store of data very first time, or you wanted to add a data on top of a file, like data which is already exist in a file, right? If you are thinking about, if you wanted to think about the concept of files, I'm talking in that way. But when we really talk, this is delta tables, right? So you either wanted to create a delta table very first time, you can use override command. And if you wanted to append, like add additional data onto it, you will be using the append. So if there is already a file exist, you can use override, so it will overwrite everything. So I already have this people file in the mbnt delta people delta folder. So but I'm not going to go into that folder section and wasting your time. So since I am using overwrite, this is going to, because you can see I have already ran this, but I'm running it again, so it overwrites, right? Now what I would do, before I do this my append command, let me run this read. So did we complete? We completed here, right? So you can see three records like Charlie, Alice, and Bob are here. So given I'm too lazy, I don't want to create any another data set or anything. I'm just going to run the same append on top of the same file with the data frame. So let us try to understand, right? So what is going to get appended on the delta file? So df is your data frame. It has these three record, right? And this df is going to write in the format of delta, in the mode of append. Append means it will add into the existing data. It's going to add additional record into the file. And where it's going to write? It's going to write into the delta, the people. So this people is your like delta table, right? So I'm going to run this straightforward, you know, from the where the data is coming. So this is expected to be adding the same data again, but not overwrite. It is as an append, correct? So let us read. So when I am reading, right, what I am doing, I am loading the data from people, the delta format data into the df. Okay, so then I'm going to show this. So you can see all this data are duplicated. Why? Because you have appended the data, correct? So I think this is clear. So you wanted to do two operations, create or insert. So you can call this as like overwrite or append. Overwrite is to like rewrite or like rewrite the existing data and create a new table, and append will help you to add. So this is like pretty straightforward, correct? So you read, I have already used it, and you already know that what is read. Read will help you to read. So CRUD operation, right? That is create or create, read, update, delete. This is CRUD operation. So we are going to talk about that. We talked about create already. Read, you are clear. I'm not wasting your time here. Now I'll show you something interesting here. We used a Python script. So but do you know that you can also use a SQL to do the same? Yes, so that is what I'm showing here. So what I'm doing here, I'm using you can select the SQL here, so it will show a magic command as like %SQL. I'm doing select star from delta. I'm saying like what type of file it is. It is delta file, right? Delta table only allows this CRUD operation. So delta dot so this is not single quote, this I have noted somewhere. Yeah, it is backtick. So which you can see probably a tilt and backtick are probably the first key in your second row of your keyboard, most probably, right? So it's back tilt, back tick, sorry, not back tilt. Yeah, so back tick, then you give the path. This is the same path what we have given in this load as well, everywhere. Then you are running your SQL code. So your same select star from table, and you are giving the table name like this, and you are getting your table as a result. So you can do your SQL queries on top of your delta table, correct? Yeah, so I'll be talking about like everywhere, like update, delete, everything you can do it using SQL. We'll be seeing in the upcoming cells. So now we are going to do update. Update is nothing but the same update which we have talked about. So what we are doing in order to do update, so we are loading this into a delta table, correct? Yeah. So here, in order to reach this update statements, like update operations, so you need to load the delta files into a temporary delta table. So this is connected. Okay, I'll tell you how this works. So what I'm doing, I'm importing this delta table from delta.tables, and yeah, I'm using this delta table for path Spark, and I'm loading this into the delta table, and I'm running my update statement where id equal to 1, correct? So let us run this cell. So yeah, it's completed, right? So normally what I did, I changed the age. What was the earlier age for id1? It was 30. So let us try reading this. So you can see both the Alice, because we had duplicate record, both the Alice age updated to 35. So what you have to understand from this is like, however this might look like you are assigning something, any changes you are making on this delta table are directly reflected into your delta table files, right? So you ran your update. So dot update is your API that help you to update, and you are giving the condition. What is your condition? ID equal to 1, and set. This is very similar to your SQL statement, right? Set, you are saying, okay, age should be 31st. Age is assigning to 35 for the ID is 1. So if you want, you can give ID 2, and that also get updated, right? And you have seen, since we had duplicate record, yeah, 30 both got like changed in this case. And you can do the same thing using like this sorry using our SQL statement. So I have this delta dot backtick and path, and I set age is equal to 40, and if I run this, this is going to change your data directly in your delta file. That is what you need to. So this two is telling that number of affected rows, because why it is 2, previously you were seeing 1, because that time I didn't have duplicate when I was testing this code. And yeah, so we don't need to really go into that the other statement, right? We can also run this select statement to check, okay, yeah, this is changed to 40, right? So that is so we changed the don't get complicated here, okay? Even I doubted one for a second. So we updated Alice, and Alice become 40, and Charlie was already 40. So that is why you are seeing 40 with four records. So now hope this update is clear. You can update in two ways, either using the SQL statement, or you can also use your delta table to do the update statement, right? So now the third operation which we have to talk about, or the fourth one, is delete. Create, read, update, and delete. The fourth one is delete. So the same delta table can be used. Delete, give the condition, all done. Pretty straightforward, right? So deleting. We don't have any messages or anything. Now we will go to select statement. We can run the select once again. So you have to believe that the select is pulling the data directly from the file. Okay, so the other read also would work. I think selects look simple, straightforward, right? So you like, however, when we were doing the other option operations, like we were taking that into data frame, doing the operations, but we here when it comes to delete, insert, and all, we are directly applying those changes in the delta tables. Okay, yeah. So delete, it's like here you have the delete statement, and in bracket you are applying the filter, and you can also do the same using SQL or SQL. You are using backtick and you are running the query. So here this is going to delete, uh, yeah, 2 records got deleted. So now we have only what, by you have only 2 records left, right? We have deal. Now we'll talk about upsert or merge. If you have already know SQL, you may have used the merge statement. So merge or upsert would be using to combine your insert and update statements together. So what does that mean, right? Like you have some values and you wanted to, or maybe you wanted to insert if the data doesn't exist, and if you wanted to update if the values are exist. Suppose Alice is already there, you wanted to update the age of Alice. David is not there, you wanted to add David as a new entry. In normal cases, you need to first go and check the entry is there based on the condition, then you will insert, or else you will write an update statement. In order to avoid all these complications, you can use this upsert directly, or like upsert or merge, the same thing, right? Which would help you to do the same operation. We also have a SQL code similar to that, and if you have already someone who uses SQL, you might know that merge is already exists there. Yeah. So here what we are doing, I have created a new data set with Alice and David, right? The same data frame concept. So here I have my delta table, you know that. So I named my data table as alt in this query, because I need to refer it somewhere, because both the table have the same column names, right? Age, name. So that in order to identify which which table, which column is referring, we need to have alias names. So here my original table, or the main delta table, I named it as alt, and I have said, okay, it has to be merged with what? New df. So you know what is new df, right? This is your new df, alias it as new, and on a condition. So this next statement is a condition, alt dot id equal to new dot id. That means like the id column should match. If this one exists, then it should match. Like 4 exists, it should match. Like that's it. So whenever the condition is matched, right? Then what we are telling, when matched, update. So when the condition is matched, you update, and when not matched, insert, right? So the same thing, like if the record exists, the matching will be true. So when you take only this match, it is an update statement, straightforward, where that id is equal to id, you are updating the old age with the new age, right? And here when you take, so this not match, that means like there is no such id exists. So this is going to, because your new df has all the information which is required, right? So you are using this id equal to new id, name equal to new id, and execute. So this is executing that command. So let me run this. So this is again going to make the changes directly into the delta table. Keep that in mind. So okay, this is completed. So let us go up here. We have our show, or you can also use your SQL statement if you are comfortable with that. Everything is totally fine. You can see two Alice was already there. Don't get confused that okay, our logic was no. So David is the new one, which was not there already. We only had two Alice when we were reaching that upsert statement, because rest of the records we have deleted as part of our learning program. Yeah, we can also do the same statement using SQL. I have this here. When I'm sharing the code, I'll be sharing that. Okay, so in the interest of time, I will wind up the video here. Hope this is clear for you. You got opportunity to understand what is CRUD operations, how you would do the CRUD operations on delta table, what is asset transaction. We are going to deep dive into all these transactions. At least if this is not covering, I'll have a theory sessions planned as a separate video in this channel, which might help you to, if you are interested to go deep diving, right? You can comment that if you are looking to understand and see some practical example with any of the relational database to handhold before we deep dive into the delta tables. Yeah, hope this is helpful. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.